In this video I'm going to talk about imposter syndrome and pain. I'll give you a case study of a client that described how they develop pain, and when you look behind the drivers for the behaviour during that time, you can see what happened. So if you're interested in seeing the link between the two, then just watch this video. This video is going to present a case study of a patient that described imposter syndrome and how that influences behaviours and how that led to development of pain. If you stay at the end, you'll see the outcome of what happened, and you'll be able to see maybe some characteristics that may be relevant to you in your recovery of pain. If you've got any comments or questions about this video, then feel free to pop them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And look out for other videos around this topic of pain, helping people recover, helping people understand it. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get notifications of any new videos that pop up around this subject. So this patient has had a history of 5 years of pain on sitting. Essentially, he's a really fit person. No other medical history, been fit all his life, all the time he can recall, and he developed this pain from sitting in a car when he was driving. Now that's not in itself that unusual, but why would it cause pain for this person at this time in their life? And he described the problem developing. He said he was driving a lot. He said the job he was doing was killing him, or the driving was killing him. And you often pick up metaphors of how stressful that moment in time was. They'll describe the pain as in terms of it's killing me, and it was wearing me out, it was too much. And that represents the situation more than the pain. The pain actually is pointing to somewhere else. The pain's the pain, but it represents something else more than the damage the person believes that's at the root of the pain. So he'd had this for 5 years. It didn't come on with trauma, so no trauma, just a gradual development of discomfort. It'd be intermittent to start with, then he'd drive some more, then he'd notice it last longer, and then it would come on quicker. And the pattern came to the point where he'd have to take a tablet. So now he takes a tablet before he even sits in the car. As you can anticipate, it's going to come on, and it does come on straight away. So that's his kind of 5-year story. And I asked him, why didn't he do anything about this? I hadn't seen anyone. Why was it that he hadn't done anything? And he said that, well, he just haven't had time. So he works away, and I come home and I'm doing this, that or the other. Just haven't had time. Now I don't know if anyone else has had to pay for 5 years and never had it looked at, but it just tells you that he's found it difficult to prioritise time for someone to look at the pain he's living with. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just saying he's found it difficult. I don't think I'd go 5 years but some people feel that they can. Anyways, decided that's enough. It's at such a level that thought, I'm going to get it sorted. So we explored the pattern. We established there wasn't anything sinister causing this. And after 5 years, if there is, it's probably there'll be a long time dead when the serious things, cancer, autoimmune disease, ongoing infection, or undiagnosed fracture, that pattern just doesn't fit coming on in a car like that. It's a conditioned response. And so we told him about the background of pain and examined him. So the very hard to reproduce the pain actually, because we weren't in the car. It just didn't. It wasn't easy to reproduce. There's some suggestion on some tests. You think, oh yeah, that's kind of getting close to where the discomfort might be. So it's very context specific. And sometimes you can't reproduce that in the clinic room. So, but he was home, he was relaxed around people he loved. And then it pointed to some clues about what was it about that driving, where was he and what was the situation. And he said it was a very stressful time 5 years ago. And I said, what was it about it? He said, yeah, the driving is stressful, physically stressful, but lots of people drive along those same roads don't have pain after an hour or two or whatever, and it doesn't end up staying 5 years. And he said, I felt, he said, have you heard of imposter syndrome? I said, yeah, it's kind of something we all experience. Potentially, it's seen in it could be seen in people who are high achievers. I think it could be seen in anyone, to be fair. It's simply questioning yourself. Am I good enough to do this? Have I got the capabilities to do it? Am I a fraud in this situation? Could happen in a relationship, in a job, turning up in a new group. So he took on a job, quite a big job, well, a very big job actually, and he felt, I didn't think I was able to do it. And so he questioned himself. That's stressful, going into this situation, managing a lot of people and a lot of responsibility. And he obviously was tempted by the thrill of that, but frightened by the potential failure of it. So it's this kind of uncertainty. And if you've got that driving every day at work and you're not sure you're going to deliver or it's all going to go wrong, that's stressful. Thrilling, but stressful on the system. And so in the context that the pain develops, he's in the driving position, and he drives to work and from work and to work and from work, and you have the fears going to work and the questions about how well he's done on the way away from work. And when you're working away, he doesn't have that love, care, attention, time with your friends, family to kind of alleviate that. You almost go to bed with that and wake up with it. So the potential's there. If you don't have the processing of those stressful emotions during that time, that pain can develop. Now, he survived the event. He does the job with his eyes closed, but because he gets in the car every day, the pain triggers again. So it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy now. It doesn't need other stresses. The stress is the pain. So that's the driver for it. So once you explain to someone like this that actually it was a protective mechanism needed at the time, the pain was more to do with the stress you were feeling rather than the sitting, although the sitting is relevant. The sitting didn't damage anything. Sitting is safe and you're going to be okay, but you have to reverse the process. Now, for some that's quick and for some that takes longer, but when fear is the dominant emotion, and let's say it was fear of failure for him and fear of not being worthy of that environment or not capable or whatever that represents, and now that fear is represented by fear of the unknown pain, if you like. As soon as you tell him why it happened, and as soon as you told him there's nothing to be afraid of in terms of the pain, but it's a process he has to go through, some of the very analytical mind absolutely loves that because he got it straight away. Give him a few analogies. The conversation took about half an hour, and but I can't follow people around, so you can't see what they're processing in the mind. You can't prompt them. If you could follow them around, you'd just be in their ear and say, well, this isn't dangerous, you're going to be okay, have a regular break, do your stretches, or take a deep breath, or respond differently to how you're feeling, or recognise these cues. Well, that's not practical, is it? It's not going to happen. So the person has to do that. And but some people just get it immediately. And so he texted me, and on the return to work, the same drive, no painkillers, no pain, sat for an hour, no trigger, unbelievable. And he did say that one swallow doesn't make a summer, and that's absolutely right. But the change is immediate. The pain was gone. He's got a longer drive, so he's almost going to kind of check it, and that's fine. You can observe interestingly about what your body does, but you don't need to look for it. You'll find if you look for it, you just simply reignite that pathway. And a lot of people do that sometimes because they like being right. So the pains come, it hasn't worked, doesn't work for me. So that's another video, that's another bit of work to be done. But if you kind of curiously observe what your body does, and go, that's interesting. And then if the pain comes, you respond to it and think, well, yeah, it hasn't damaged me. It's just my body's response. Then you can go with the process to reverse that pain and be completely pain-free. Completely pain-free. And I'm really confident this guy will be pain-free. And because of that, it's had such a good response. I did warn him about excitement, because remember, excitement and fear are exactly the same chemicals, different framing of it. But when pain drops and someone thinks, oh, great, then often that anticipation of how much they'll be able to do again can trigger the pathways. And so it's almost been calm and consistent throughout. So this person did really well, great initial results, and I'll maybe post again about how he progresses. But it was interesting that imposter syndrome, that question of yourself, and then the behaviours that come with that are almost to push to prove that I am good enough, push past the resistance I feel, push past any pain I feel, just to prove I am good enough. And that's part of the automation to develop persistent pain in some people. And when you see it, when the person's aware of it, then they have the opportunity to reverse it. And he started reversing it, and maybe you can too. If you recognise some of these cues, some of those traits, some of those driven natures, some of those fears that maybe lead to behaviours that cause pain, then the beauty of this work is you always have tomorrow to have another go, and you always have tomorrow until you don't. But so it's best to start today. So I hope you found that helpful, and like I say, any questions about it, comments, just put them in the section below. And it's just another piece of information that helps us all process pain in a way that's a little less fearful, and helps us develop the habits that might help us kind of reverse persistent pain.